this year. Okay. You go next. No. This is not sugar technology here. Okay. So maybe we go this way. So we went to, as part of the idea about going to backward integration, the federal government of Nigeria, through the Sugar Council, in the year 2012, September to be precise, decided to develop, what we call the backward integration of sugar, so that instead of importing raw sugar, we should actually be producing the sugar locally here in Nigeria. And as part of what happened was the Sugar Council was able to identify some states and areas where this could be developed. And Tunga happened to be one of those places that had been identified. But at the time, Tunga probably was just a small area that was identified. So we went there, which is what you have seen at the top, the project location. The Tunga in our local government area that we went to identify. At the time that our chairman went to identify, it was less than 40,000. It is important here to mention, because of the kind of reception our chairman received with his team, and the way the governor has shown us the support and everything, our chairman increased the size of the investment from less than 40,000 to 60,000 metric tons, 60,000 hectares of land. So the idea is, why sugar? A lot of people just understand sugar as the cane that we actually just produce crystal and consume. But sugar is far more than that, which is the idea of the backward integration. So the value chain for sugar starts from what you see in the cane. From the cane, we actually extract to produce the sugar out of the sucrose, which is the liquid form. The solid form, which is the fiber, is what we call the trash. We generate electricity from it. And of course, the biggest aspect of this project is the social impact, the social development. By the time we go today, we are going to be producing less than 50% of what is actually in the refinery in Lagos, yet Nasarawa State is going to see employment of not less than 30,000 people. So the idea, as I said earlier, was to produce a much smaller factory, but by the time our chairman went into it, we now have 2 factories actually, each one of 12,000 TCD, tons of cane per day. And that's what is going to cause into production not only of sugar, but also ethanol, animal feeds, and the electricity that I have mentioned earlier. So the process which we actually showed to the governor was going to start with what we call the feasibility study, then our design packages, then we will go for tender for the construction of the factory and also construction of the farms themselves. And we gave each time for that. But I think because our chairman loves not just our governor but Nasarawa State, he shortened the period that we have to finish this in 5 years. In fact, when we were in the plane, he changed the 5 years to 4 years, 10 months. So the idea now went to, if we go to Nasarawa State to do this, what are the key metrics? What are we going to achieve? Out of the 60,000 hectares of land, we are going to take 54,000 hectares that will be directly under cane. So planting of cane will be that figure. The cane production is going to be 4.3 million. And because of the ratio of 100 tons of cane per hectare, and the 2 factories of 12,000 TCD, and the 10% extraction which we have, with the implementation period of the 30 months, we are looking at a production of 432,000 metric tons of sugar per annum, which translates also to generating electricity of nothing less than 96 megawatts. Out of these 96 megawatts, our project requires just 50% of that, and we strongly believe the entire Nasarawa state may not require more than the balance of what we have, which we are going to actually pass into the national grid. Then we are going to also produce 100,000 tons of animal feed, and of course about 34 million liters of ethanol. So these are the benefits that we said are going to come along with this factory. The livelihood, already there is livelihood, there is life going on right now in Tunga with due respect to a traditional ruler. Because of the permission we got from the governor to go ahead, even before signing of this agreement, to go ahead and start what we call the seed cane farm. We had already moved equipment to the site, from what you will see later in the pictures. Is there no way you can make it full page? Yeah. Aha. Okay, that's right. Aha. So the expected benefits from what we said, based on what we have seen, I had mentioned approximately 30,000 jobs that we are going to generate, a maximum of 30% of the cane that we are going to have will come from what we call the outgrower scheme. And there is no better place to mention that than the Sugar Council. Sugar Council is insisting that we must have outgrowers, because outgrowers is where the empowerment comes from. There is no better farmer, I believe, than an outgrower of cane, because whatever he produces is going to be purchased, is going to be bought by the factory at a price not determined by the factory, but at a price determined by a formula which we receive from the Sugar Council. And today, we are already practicing that. In fact, we got a big applause during the midterm review last week, when the Sugar Council said, in the whole of Nigeria, it is only Dangote that has so far started the outgrower scheme. And in addition to that, 40% of the cane planting is going to be manual, and that's the idea of this generating employment opportunities. And I have mentioned the electricity generation. Then the township that is going to be created by that. Today in Savannah, which is the other factory that we have already, we have a clinic, we have a school, we actually have worshiping areas, and then we have what we call the township, which is the estate where the staff are. So the direct employment that we have going to be about 30,000, but in reality, people who are coming to also do other businesses in the area, and extended, you will have additional at least another 20,000 people that are going to be there. So as a result of the governor giving us the go-ahead, even before the signing of the agreement, we decided to mobilize equipment to site. And that is what you see. So we mobilized to site and started what we call the land clearing. After the land clearing, of course, we look at the water, which is the biggest attraction when it comes to sugar. So Tunga is blessed with a huge amount of River Niger going just by the side of Tunga. So we mobilized to site and went to business. And that's what you will see. By the 30th of April, we had already started clearing, and that's during the visit that I made to the site, to see the initial. So at this point, let me single out Mr. Omar Hussein and his team for relocating from Savannah to the site, to start doing that wonderful job. So Omar Hussein, we thank you so much for that. Unknown to us,